where senior leaders come to rethink how human capital really works. I'm your host, Jackson Lynch, and today we are talking about something that everybody says they understand, but most actually get completely wrong. Agility. Now, right off the bat, let me challenge your assumption. Agility isn't really about speed. It's not about racing from one crisis to the next, like you're in some never-ending game of organizational whack-a-mole. No, true agility, real lasting agility is actually about rhythm. And here's what I mean. Have you ever seen someone who tries to dance by moving as fast as possible without any sense of rhythm? It's honestly uncomfortable to watch, kind of like when your uncle tries to moonwalk at the family reunion. It might be enjoyable for about the first 3 or 4 seconds. There's lots of frantic motion, zero coordination. But after a while, and it doesn't take too long, nobody really wants to watch. Unfortunately, that's exactly what too many companies are doing today. They're mistaking frantic motion for meaningful progress. I think you know what I'm talking about. Leaders celebrate busy calendars and packed days. They glorify late nights, equating exhaustion with commitment. And if you're not grinding yourself into a pulp, the assumption is that somehow you're not working hard enough, you might not be committed. But here's a hard truth. Motion is not progress. Activity is not accomplishment. And the result of constant hustle is, in many cases, burnout, disengagement, and eventually the quiet exit of your best people. So here's a revolutionary idea. You ready? Start managing energy, not just time. Think about this practically. Time is fixed. You can't create more of it. Life is like the hourglass glued to the table, as Anna Nalick once sang. Trust me, I've tried to change that outcome, but it doesn't work. Energy, however, is renewable. Leaders who protect and strategically renew their team's energy are the ones who can unlock genuine high performance. Now, I'm a big sports analogy guy, so think about an elite athlete for a second. The best coaches aren't just managing minutes on the court or on the field. They're actively managing what? Their players' energy and rhythm with regard to the balance of the team. You wouldn't play your best running back every down, every snap, all season. Why? Because it's not sustainable. You intentionally rotate players, don't you? You strategically use recovery to keep your stars fresh. You pulse intensely with rest. And that's exactly how winning teams in business sustain performance over the long haul. So here's the question. Why aren't more companies focused on this? And let's break it down with a very concrete, pragmatic approach. How do you apply rhythm-based agility to your week-to-week management style? One effective way is to think about your week as if it is a carefully curated playlist. Picture your favorite classic rock album. For me, it's probably Boston's Third Stage. You don't put all of the fast-paced, high-energy songs back to back. You balance intensity and release. High-energy work sessions followed by reflective thinking, recovery breaks, and deliberate collaboration. And if your week ends up looking like a continuous string of Metallica songs, something is seriously wrong. And trust me, nobody's productivity thrives on nonstop heavy metal, even if it's Metallica. But here's the rub. As easy as this sounds, many leaders still struggle with it because their calendars are full of endless meetings. So let me tell you something you probably already suspected. Nonstop meetings are the place where momentum and probably human souls go to die. Meetings that don't create space for processing, reflection, and recovery not only kill creativity, they actually sabotage decision-making quality. So the question is, how do you fix this practically? You need to build in intentional white space into the system. Now, before you roll your eyes at the phrase white space, thinking it's some sort of fluffy corporate jargon, consider this. Every elite performer, athlete, or artist plans intentional downtime. Elite teams understand that recovery isn't a luxury. Recovery is how peak performance becomes sustainable. I once had the opportunity to talk to Pete Carroll about success on the football field, and he said, we are going to be competing at being restful. Think about that for a second. Competing at being restful. Skipping recovery doesn't save you time. It actually kills your output. It reduces resilience. It lowers your team's creativity. It's not saving the engine, it's blowing it up. And here's another pragmatic tool. Implement systems that flex rather than rely on people who eventually crack under pressure. Think about building cross-functional pods that can rotate to match shifting priorities. We've talked about that in elastic teams. Adjust capacity flexibly rather than piling on more work to the same tired shoulders, even the ones you know will deliver for you. You got to create clear prioritization so that people know when it's time to push hard and when it's okay or even expected to rest and recharge. There are conversations that are mandatory to have on a Saturday afternoon. There just aren't that many of them. Not if you want to perform well over the long term. And these adaptive structures, they can become your secret weapon, enabling responsiveness without burnout. So let's take a look at a quick example from a client that I recently worked with. They were dealing with intense project sprints, each one lasting about 8 weeks. Very high pressure, very high visibility. Their previous approach was basically run fast, hold your breath, and pray nothing breaks. And no shocker, things regularly broke. Burnout was rampant. So we worked together, we adjusted their model to pulse between sprints and intentional recovery periods. We introduced short breaks designed explicitly for reflection, learning, and reset. Initially, their executives worried that might actually slow down momentum. But guess what happened? Performance actually surged. Engagement skyrocketed. Retention improved. Now let's also briefly talk about common pitfalls, because I guarantee you're thinking about them already. One big pitfall is equating rest or recovery with wasted time. It's not what we're talking about. But leaders can sometimes feel guilty about creating open slots on their calendars as if it means that they're not valuable anymore. Look, recovery isn't a bug in the system. It's a feature. It's not downtime. It is uptime insurance. If you skip it, your team's eventually going to give you downtime anyway, usually in the form of exhaustion, disengagement, or resignation letters. Another common mistake is believing rhythm can be forced from the top down by rigid rules. You can't mandate rest and recovery. You have to build it culturally. Leaders have to visibly embrace the rhythm. They have to model it personally and consistently reinforce the idea that recovery drives higher quality work. And in that, people need to genuinely trust that rhythm is valued and it won't result in passive-aggressive performance reviews that say, sure would be nice if Jackson worked a few more late nights. Don't send mixed messages. You've got to commit and then stay consistent. All right, folks, let's pull this all together and summarize. Or here's the quick wrap up for all of you multitaskers who zoned out about a minute ago and just realized you're still listening. Agility is not about speed. It's about rhythm. You need to stop confusing busy with productive. Those aren't the same things. Motion is not progress. You got to protect and renew your team's energy, and you manage that rhythm intentionally, just like an elite sports coach. Build your weekly schedule like a balanced playlist: intensity, release, recovery. Skip recovery, and you're going to end up paying the price in creativity and retention. And those systems that flex and rotate teams intelligently, over time, they outperform teams that rely on individual stamina. Common pitfalls include undervaluing recovery and inconsistently modeling rhythm. You got to avoid it. You need to make it okay for people to define that rhythm for themselves. Pulse, don't push. That's the formula for sustainable agility and peak organizational performance. So thank you so much for tuning into the Talent Sherpa podcast. This is where senior leaders come to rethink how human capital really works. And a quick shout out to one of our favorite listeners. Hi, Dimitri. Thanks for being a part of the Talent Sherpa community. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please hit the like and subscribe button. Leave us a review on your favorite platform, whether that's Apple or Spotify, YouTube. We're ubiquitous, which means you can find us every place now. If you're a CHRO wondering where the heck to start your AI journey, check out Propulsion AI. They are transforming how smart companies turn HR insights into powerful outcomes. And if you're an emerging or brand new CHRO and you're ready to accelerate your impact, head on over to talentsherpa.substack.com or mytalentsherpa.com, We've designed resources specifically to help you navigate, elevate, and deliver results from day one. So until next time, keep leading the business, keep focusing on outcomes, and keep on climbing.